Hi everyone, I'm Bonita from Pennies to Dollars, and today I have 29 ways to save on your utilities. And some of these can be done all year round. A few can be done in the winter, a few in the summer. And many of these I had not heard before, so I thought they would be super helpful. I hope you will stick around. We're all looking for new ways to save, and many of these I had not heard before, and I thought they were really great ideas. Maybe they're ones you haven't thought of before either. We all know to turn off things and unplug things that we're not using, but some of these suggestions were really brilliant, I thought. So the first ones have to do with your TV. Number one is lower your brightness on your TV. That actually uses more energy. The second one is to adjust the contrast. Now, if you grew up like I did with those old tube TVs, there were times we were always adjusting the contrast, but that actually can also save you on energy costs. The third way is if you have a newer TV and you're able to set it to energy saving mode, that will actually save on your utilities. And the fourth way is to use the sleep time feature if you have that on your TV as well. Now, many of these have to do with newer TVs. Some of us don't have the newer TVs, but a lot of us still have some of these options, like the contrast that goes way back to tube TVs. The fifth way is not to use the standby mode. Anything on standby is ready for you to use it at any time, which means it is pulling electricity. Sometimes when we think things are on standby, we think that they are shut down, but they're not shut down, not on our computer, not on our TV. So don't use the standby mode. The sixth way is to keep in mind the size of your television. Every 10 inches you go up adds to your electric bill. I've mentioned this before, but so many large TVs are on sale now for really good prices. And that's something we don't think about. We think about the cost, the initial cost of buying the television, but we don't think about the size affecting our electric bill. And it actually does. The seventh way is to keep your filters clean on your heating and AC units. Now, I have a propane stove and I have a window unit. But even keeping the filter clean on the window unit is important because it can block airflow getting in. And anytime airflow is blocked or slowed down, it will pull more energy trying to work. When we had the heating and AC unit that was central heat and air at our business, we would go out regularly with a garden hose and hose that out because we would get cotton from the trees caught in there, and it would make the air conditioning start feeling like it wasn't really working really well on those really hot days. So if you happen to notice that, or you don't have your items on a regular maintenance plan to check those are beneficial to save you some money, and they're relatively easy things to do. Number 8, keeping the refrigerator, the back of it clean, sucking out the fuzz underneath it if you can. Coils and systems that get blocked even on a refrigerator pull more electricity, just like we talked about. They're also trying to cool. So that makes sense that any of that fuzz and dust is going to make it work harder. Number 9, shut off the dryer setting on your dishwasher right before it goes to dry. Just pop that door open and let it dry naturally. Now, this will save you money because that drying element and heating that dishwasher up, that will pull more energy. Number 10, keeping your freezer full. We've heard this one before. Now, on your refrigerator, you do also want to keep it fairly full, but not so cram-packed that it affects how it is working. If you have things too close to the top, it will start freezing some of your items. So you want to have it comfortably full. But with your freezer, you can pack that full and it actually will help it stay cold and pull less energy. Number 11 is keeping your lint trap to your dryer cleaned out after every use. Now, I don't use a dryer, but if you do use a dryer, it is a fire hazard to have too much lint in there. And I actually had a friend whose house burnt down because her dryer lint caught on fire when she left it running and she wasn't home. So make sure you clean that out because again, it affects that airflow. You can probably see a pattern to what we're talking about here. Number 12, use dryer balls if you are using a dryer. Now, we all know that dryer balls can take the place of a static cling sheet, but did you know that the dryer balls actually will move your products around in your dryer and make them dry quicker so that you use your dryer not as long? So get some dryer balls in there if you use a dryer, and you can run your dryer a little less minutes as you're drying your clothes. Use residual heat. So if you're cooking something and you want to finish cooking it like in the toaster oven, just shut that off and let the last 15 minutes go. You can also do that in your oven. You can also do that with things you're cooking on the stove to save yourself a little bit of energy. I also do that in my turkey roaster. It is going to stay hot for like the next 10 to 15 minutes and it will finish cooking whatever you have in there if it's close to being done. Number 14, don't put hot food in the fridge. Sometimes we don't think about this one, but even if you have a crock pot of something, take that crock pot out, let that ceramic dish sit there, take the lid off, let it cool well, and it will not make your refrigerator work so hard, because when you put something hot in there, it's going to try to bring it down to temp. It's also going to warm up the fridge for your other items that are in there. So you want that to be really cool before you put it in the fridge. If you can even put it into other dishes that are smaller and let them cool down that way, it also will cool them quicker to store them in your fridge or in your freezer. Number 15. Now, if you have an extra freezer or an extra refrigerator, you may not have thought about this one, but actually keeping them in a climate-controlled room will make them work less hard. A lot of people put these in their garages, and their garages are not temperature controlled, and that can make your refrigerator and freezer work more in the summertime when it gets really hot in there, and it can also affect them in the wintertime when it gets really cold because they're trying to stay a consistent temperature. They say that if you have a basement, that it's actually better to keep your extra refrigerator and freezer there. Number 16, keep lids on your pan on your stove, and that way they will heat better and your heat won't go out the top while you're cooking them. And then the next one is very similar to that in that you want to keep the burner that you put your pan on about the same size as the bottom of your pan. That way you don't have the flames licking up the side of your pan and it being too large and actually using more energy that way. So you're going to want to match the size of your pan to the size of your burner. Number 18, stop drafts around your windows and around your doors. I make my own draft stoppers, but I also go out and caulk around things every single year just to make sure that there isn't any air getting in around my windows and my doors, because as our mom and dad used to say, we're not heating the outside. Number 19, if you have glass oven-proof dishes, they will actually cook your item quicker than if you have them in a metal or an aluminum pan. They keep that residual heat in there like we talked about before, and it will actually cook your items quicker using less energy. This one is another one I had not thought about, but it makes perfect sense. Number 20, keep your windows clean. Your windows pull in the sunlight from outside, keeping your house warmer in the wintertime, and sometimes it will keep them warmer in the summertime if that is your goal. But if you keep that window clean, you can use and take advantage of some of that outside energy. But if your window is dirty, it's almost like having tint on your windows, and it's going to block some of that heat coming in this winter. Number 21, doing your dishes by hand uses less energy. It uses manpower energy instead of electric energy. A lot of people argue about how much water each one of them uses. I still say doing them by hand uses less water if you are careful and you do it the old-fashioned method, where you have sudsy water in one side and clear water to dip in the next. A lot of people like the convenience and they don't want to do them by hand, or they feel like they get cleaner when they do them in the dishwasher. But that is totally your choice, but doing them by hand does use less energy. Number 22, having a storm door on your door actually gives you an extra layer of protection. So many homes now are built without storm doors or screen doors on the front. Mine still has a screen door on the front because I have an old-fashioned home. And when my son lived in Alaska, he actually had 2 front doors using the same theory. You would go in the front door, close it before you opened the second door, as a second layer of keeping that energy inside your home. But that storm door will do a lot of the same thing and help seal that airflow getting in. Number 23, use door sweeps on the bottom of your doors to block any air that might be coming in underneath your door. Number 24, keep your temperature lower at night. It's even been shown that people sleep better when the temperature is just a little bit lower because we're already under blankets. Number 25, use an attic fan to keep the heat out of the top portion of your house in the summertime. It will pack that heat in there and heat rises. And if your attic is full of heat, it will take more to cool off your house. I have been in homes that have attic fans, and it's amazing how much heat can be expelled by using those. Number 26, use a ceiling fan. Remember to change it from summer to winter on the direction that it goes, but using a ceiling fan will use less energy and distribute either cool air or warm air as you need it. Number 27, limit the use of exhaust fans, either over your stove or in your bathroom. Exhaust fans actually pull a lot of energy. Many of us don't think about that because we're more interested in maybe keeping dampness out of the bathroom or getting maybe some smoke that's rolling up from the stove out of the house. But if you're trying to add a little warmth to your house in the wintertime, limit the use of your exhaust fans, and it will also lower your electric bill. Number 28. This is another one I had not thought about before. It makes a ton of sense. Keep energy producing appliances away from each other if you're going to be using them close to the same time. Microwaves put off a lot of heat. Toaster ovens put off a lot of heat. And if we have them next to each other and we're using both of them, it will heat up the area, making them pull more electricity to operate. So keep energy producing items that put off heat away from each other to save on your utilities. And the 29th way to keep your house cooler or warmer, whichever you want to do, is to put in some blackout curtains. These things have been worth their weight in gold this summer. It kept this office room that has so many windows so much cooler. And then in the winter, it also keeps out the cold. But these are south-facing windows. And because they are south-facing, in the summertime, the Department of Energy says that these windows can pull in 45% more heat than we want them to and really affect our heating and our cooling. But I like to use them. I pull them back and forth all day long. I pull them open in the morning. I pull them shut when it gets hot. Then when it gets dark, I pull them shut again. All day long, I'm pulling these things back and forth, but they are so worth it. So if you don't have some blackout curtains to help yourself in the winter or in the summer, I suggest you invest in those first. I hope this video has helped you. I know I have some summer and winter things mixed in there because I have people that watch me that are still in warm areas and it's going to stay warm there. And I have people that are already experiencing some fall and some cold weather. I'm kind of in between. It is cool in the morning, but yet it's still getting in the 80s in the afternoon. So I hope this helps you find some ways that you can lower your utilities going into these next several months. Thanks for watching today. Give me a thumbs up if this video has been helpful and you've enjoyed it. And I hope you'll join me for another.